The family of a man killed in a hit-and-run crash says the driver accused of hitting him was his best friend.
Yeah, that crash happened late Friday night in West Fort Worth. Family members tell us that something happened that led both of them to get out of their vehicles, and only one made it home. Fox 4's Amelia Jones in Fort Worth tonight with more. Amelia.
Heather, Steve, Daniel Lester's family say they believe it was an accident, but they say what hurts the most is knowing Lester's best friend fled the scene.
And I told him, I love you, be safe.
Those were the last words Presley Lester told her older brother, Danny Lester, on Friday night. 20 minutes later, their mom got a call from the hospital stating that Danny was there and severely injured. The family learned that he was hit by a car at the intersection of Clifford Street and Western Trade Drive.
I feel like I have no tears left to cry.
Another close family friend was there when it happened, told the family that Danny got out to confront the driver of a truck who almost hit his car. They say Lester's best friend, David Hall, was also there and got out of his car, too.
And the truck fled. And then David tried to go after the truck and hit Danny.
Lester's family believes it was not intentional, but police say Hall didn't stop to check on his friend. Fort Worth police say he drove off and turned himself in several hours later.
And I know it was an accident, but how can you leave your best friend laying there?
That's the part the family can't forget.
I feel like I wouldn't have so much, anger to it if he didn't flee and hide out for as long as he did. That's what bothers me the most, is that he fled, and I feel, there's something that needs to be served for fleeing the way he did.
Lester is currently only alive through life support. The family has made the decision to donate his organs, which will happen on Tuesday. Presley believes it's what the father of two would have wanted.
He was a great guy. It's taken too soon.
And his namesake will live on too, with his nephew due August 1st.
I'm naming him Daniel. And I feel like that's just the way my brother would want to be honored, and he loved all his nieces and nephews.
Danny Lester leaves behind a longtime girlfriend and the mother to his two sons, both under the age of 3. Hall is currently facing charges of collision involving serious bodily injury. Once Danny Lester was taken off life support, however, those charges could change. Heather, Steve, back to you.
Amelia, thank you.
Authorities say the man who attacked a Colorado group supporting Israeli hostages had 16 unused Molotov cocktails within arm's reach when he was arrested.
And I think the fact that we have both federal and state charges within 24 hours of this attack is a testament to the strength of the partnerships, the professionalism of the investigators, and our commitment to the community and to each other to pursue justice.
Prosecutors also now say there were a total of 12 victims burned or otherwise injured. The suspect is facing hate crime charges. Fox's Asher Red reports.
The suspect, who police say set peaceful pro-Israel demonstrators on fire in Boulder, Colorado, told investigators that he researched and planned for a year. Mohammed Solomon also said he specifically targeted a, quote, Zionist group. The 45-year-old has been charged with a federal hate crime. Solomon is an Egyptian national who overstayed his visa.
The president is going to ensure that this individual is held to the fullest extent of the law.
There's a big push right now in ICE to go ahead and identify all these individuals that have overstayed their visas. We want to go ahead and we make sure we take these bad actors out of the country before anything like this could happen.
Police released a mugshot of Solomon, and you can see a large bandage on his right ear. According to witnesses, he hurt himself during the attack.
He threw another cocktail, and on the second one, he lit himself on fire. After he lit himself on fire, he took off the vest and the shirt, and he was shirtless.
An FBI affidavit says police found at least 14 unlit Molotov cocktails at the scene, but authorities think Solomon acted alone. With the recent increase in anti-Semitic violence, the White House is assuring the Jewish community they are safe.
Rest assured to all Jewish Americans across our great country, this president has your back, and he's not going to allow anyone to take part in violent terrorism.
Solomon is being held on a $10 million bond. In Boulder, Colorado, Asher Red, Fox 4 News.
The 89th legislative session ended earlier today. Many priority Republican bills cleared the House and Senate, including a total ban on recreational legal THC. But there is pressure on Governor Abbott to veto that bill. Fox 4's Stephen Dial in the newsroom to explain what happens next. Stephen.
With the session officially over, the clock starts for Governor Abbott to sign or veto Senate Bill 3. Abbott could also let the clock run out and let the bill become law without his signature. Today, we saw dueling press conferences over Senate Bill 3. The bill would ban consumable THC, but will not impact the limited medical THC program. A group of veterans and hemp farmers spoke this morning, urging Governor Abbott to veto the bill. The group also delivered boxes of petitions from people who want Abbott to veto the bill. Some veterans say that it has provided them a better medical solution than pills.
He says hemp is dangerous. He says we need to crack down, but what he's really saying is that veterans like me don't deserve relief unless it comes with a prescription pad and a pill bottle. That is shameful, that is reckless, and it is un-American.
That veteran is responding to comments that Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick made last week. This afternoon, a group of doctors, veterans, and lawmakers held a press conference in support of the bill. They echoed the Lieutenant Governor's comments last week, saying that the products are dangerous. Listen to what State Representative David Lowe, who is a veteran himself, said about the topic.
It doesn't heal. It numbs the symptoms, gives false comfort, and delays the real work of recovery. That's why I'm deeply troubled that veterans are being used as props to push unregulated THC.
I reached out to the governor's office to see if he had an updated statement. His press secretary told me that there was no update beyond the statement that he released last week, which did not give an opinion about the bill. Abbott has 20 days to sign or veto this specific bill.
Stephen, thank you.
Time to build for Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. TMZ's Michael Babcock live in Los Angeles. Of course, we have to start with the local story that you guys are all over this morning, and that has to do with Dak Prescott building a new pad in Prosper, not just building a new team going into the next year, but also building his house in Prosper, where he used to live.
Yeah. Hey, Lauren. Good morning. Yeah, this was, a house that he actually demolished. It was a house that I guess he wanted to upgrade it, and rather than just doing renovations, when you've got that kind of money, hey, let's just start completely fresh. They actually had knocked it down as part of a Dude Perfect video, and people who obviously are familiar with them will know what they are. And they knocked down the home, they demolished it, and now the rebuilding process begins, and there is a lot of activity on the grounds, not by any stretch completely done yet, but yeah, they are getting there, and I am sure it's going to be an absolutely breathtaking house once he finally is done with it. Again, he had a really nice house there, and he just completely flattened it, and we're rebuilding.
Apparently wanted something more modern, so yes, they're doing that. And this is just in time because they just had their second baby. Aurora was just born not too long ago, so he's got those two little girls, a growing family, and yep, things are very busy and prosper right now.
When I remember my sister was born, we moved into like a 2-bedroom home, and here that goes into his like 15 bed. Yeah, it's going to be gorgeous, I'm sure.
I have a feeling your life's a little different than Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I can promise you it is.
No, just pulling it out there. Okay, now to San Antonio. Let's go to San Antonio, where authorities are looking at the death of King of Hill actor Jonathan Joss. What are you hearing about this case?
Yeah, this is a crazy story, and it just really sounds like a really tragic one. This guy, Jonathan Joss, who was he was a voice actor. He was also an actor in other shows. He was in Parks and Rec, so he was really a part of some big projects. Well, he had unfortunately lost his house in a fire in February, and there were some people who had raised money for them. So anyway, on Sunday, Jonathan does, along with his partner, to pick up a check that had been, again, donated for them. While there, he finds one of his animals had died sadly in this fire, and he really became upset. He was emotional, certainly. Nobody denies that. Something happened, though, that he got into a heated argument with one of his neighbors. And now this neighbor and he had apparently had a lot of issues, drama over the years, and this fight evolved or turned deadly in some way or for some reason, so much so that this neighbor allegedly shot and killed Jonathan Joss. Now this man has been arrested. He is behind bars in the San Antonio area, and obviously now is going to be facing a murder charge. But it's just an incredibly sad story. You lose the house, he goes back to collect the check, finds his pet, and the next moment he is shot. So it's just an awful story.
Goodness. All right.
Yeah.
I know you'll stay on top of that. Bring us update as you get them. You can watch TMZ midnight, 12:30 p.m. Fox 4. TMZ Live airs weekdays 3 p.m. on More 27. Also find a link to the show as well at fox4news.com. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.